Have you ever noticed that little narrator in your head that just never, ever stops talking? You know the one. It's always commenting on things, worrying about the future, or replaying stuff from the past. Well, what if you could just turn down the volume? Today, we're diving into a really practical guide based on Eckhart Tolle's work on how to do just that, how to quiet that noise and find some peace right here, right now.
So, let's just jump right in with a huge question. I mean, it's the big one, right? Why do we suffer? We're so quick to blame our jobs or our relationships or just the state of the world. But what if the real source of all that unhappiness is a lot closer to home?
And, this quote really nails it. The whole idea here is that our suffering doesn't actually come from life itself. It comes from the layer of interpretation, the stories our minds are constantly spinning about life. So the problem isn't out there, it's right here, in here.
So this really brings us to the core of the problem, what you could call the tyranny of our own minds. And believe me, it's a powerful force. Understanding how it operates is absolutely the first step toward finding any kind of freedom from it.
I mean, think about it. Our thinking mind is an amazing tool. But for so many of us, it's stopped being a tool. It's become the boss. It's this non-stop stream of mental chatter that creates like a screen. We end up living through our thoughts about reality, not reality itself. Big difference.
Okay, look at this. This is where it gets really interesting, because it shows the divide so clearly. On one side, you've got reality. It's simple, it's direct, it's what's happening right now. On the other side, you've got the mind's story, which is always tangled up in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future, just judging and labeling everything. That gap, that's where all the unhappiness lives.
So if we're all caught up in our minds, how in the world do we get out? Well, the good news is there is an escape route. Eckhart Tolle calls them portals. They're like direct gateways we can use to step out of that frantic stream of thought and into the peace of the present moment.
So these are the main ways in. Things like the present moment itself, your inner body, stillness, and surrender. And the thing is, they're not some complicated techniques you have to study for years. They're just doorways that are always, always open to us. And today, we're going to zero in on one of the most direct ones.
So what's on the other side of these doorways? It's presence. And let's be clear, this isn't about turning into some thoughtless zombie. It's a state of heightened, awakened awareness, where you're no longer dominated by your thinking. Thought goes back to being a tool, something you pick up when you need it and put down when you don't.
All right, so let's really focus in on what Tolle says is maybe the most practical and direct portal there is, using your body as an anchor to the now.
This is so powerful because you don't need anything outside of yourself. You don't need a special room. You don't need a meditation cushion. I mean, your body is with you 24/7, right? That makes it the most reliable tool you have for grounding yourself in this moment.
Okay, so how do you actually do this? It's way simpler than it sounds. First, just pull your attention out of your head, out of all that mental chatter. Then, just try to feel the aliveness in your hands. Can you feel that kind of subtle tingling? Once you've got that, just let that feeling of awareness spread until you can feel your entire body as this vibrant energy field. That feeling? That's your anchor.
And see, that's the whole key right there. Whenever you feel yourself getting lost in thought, getting anxious or worried, you can always come back to this inner feeling of aliveness. It just instantly yanks you out of whatever story your mind is telling you and plants you right back here, in the reality of this moment.
Okay, but this isn't just about sitting on a cushion and meditating, right? The real magic happens when you bring this state of presence into your normal, everyday life, turning even the most mundane stuff into a chance to be aware and peaceful.
Let's take something super simple, like climbing a flight of stairs. Normally, your mind is all about the goal, gotta get to the top. The stairs are just something to get over with. But when you're present, each single step is the journey. You feel your foot hitting the stair, the movement of your body. The moment stops being just a stepping stone to get somewhere else. The moment is everything.
And you can do this with literally anything. When you drink a glass of water, don't just chug it down while you're already thinking about the next 10 things on your to-do list. Actually feel it. When you look at a flower, just for a second, try to see it without your brain immediately screaming "flower" at you. Experience it directly. It sounds small, but these little shifts, they're game changers.
All right, now let's talk about what might be the most transformative practice of all, one that has a huge impact not just on you, but on everyone you talk to. And that's the practice of pure listening. So check out the difference here. Most of the time when we think we're listening, we're not. We're thinking. We're just waiting for a pause so we can jump in, or we're judging what they're saying. Pure listening? That's totally different.
It's about creating a space of still, alert attention for the other person. It's about feeling the person behind the words. And here's where it gets really profound. When you can give someone that kind of deep, still, non-judgmental attention, man, that is one of the greatest gifts you can offer. It can actually help them get in touch with that same presence inside themselves simply because you're holding that space for them. So you see, this whole practice isn't something you just do by yourself. It's deeply about connection. It turns every single conversation into a chance for real, genuine connection and shared awareness. This is where it all really comes alive. So as we start to wrap this up, the biggest takeaway here is about empowerment. This isn't some distant goal you have to work tirelessly to achieve. The source makes it so clear that being present is a choice you can make right here in this very moment. You just have to remember that you have a choice. You know, so much of our stress is tied to this feeling that there's never enough time. But really, time is just a creation of the mind. When you drop into the present moment, all that pressure just dissolves. Because all you ever really have is the now. And I want to leave you with one final question to chew on. I mean, we spend our whole lives chasing all kinds of freedom, right? Financial freedom, personal freedom, you name it. But what if the greatest freedom of all has been right here the whole time? The freedom from the constant compulsive noise in our own heads.